So in yesterday class we had covered how to create the landing tables, right? So I think just we had created one landing table and we had loaded some data in that landing table. So let's try to connect our varish. So for this batch we had created training underscore dev. So let's connect to this varish training underscore dev with the help of SQL developer. Now we can see, yeah. So we had created the table from Informatica MDM console side. From here we had created a table. So here I have been connected to training various. Okay, you can see. So let's switch to training underscore dev because in this various we are working. Fine. So for viewing the landing table, you have to go to a schema, then come to landing table, then click on the landing table name. So here you can see the columns. So
Hi Sujit, we cannot see the screen.
no, already I have shared, so it's not visible. We cannot see the screen. I could not see your screen. Yeah, let me reshare the screen. Now is it visible, Ravi? Can you see my screen?
Not now.
Hmm?
Not now.
Oh, let me refresh it. Yeah. So so now I am sharing my screen. So now can you see the screen?
Yes, yes, I can see.
So now it's visible, right? Okay, fine,
Yes.
great. So thanks for stopping me because we cannot get the point. So let's come to the Informatica MDO. So from here we had created the landing table. Okay. So here we had just created the landing table. We had just added the columns, and from backend, like from database, we had added some data. So as we know that in real time, we have no need to add the data manually. In real time, we will add data with the help of other ETL tools. But here for training, we don't have any other ETL tool. So just manually we had inserted some data for different source system. So up to this part we had covered. Now you can see there is one option here in landing table that is called contain full data set. So let's try to understand this. So there is one concept that is one generic concept. I think you should know that is called if you are loading data with the help of any tool or any technology. So there are two type of data load. Generally, there are two types of data load. One type is called full data load, and the second type is called incremental data load. So if you are going to learn any data related tool, that may be any ETL tool, that may be any MDM tool, then that may be any warehouse tool. So you will hear this term very frequently. This is a very important. So incremental data load. So what is the difference between these two type of data load? We need to understand first. So suppose you have developed some code, and after developing the code, just you are running your job for first time, like for moving data from one table to other table. Just you have written some code, and if you are running your job first time, then in case of full data load, all the data from source will be loaded to the target. So what the data we will have in source, all the data will be loaded to target without any intervention. in full data load. But in case of incremental data load, what will happen? In place of full, in first type we saw that all the data from source got loaded to target. But in case of incremental data load, only change data will be loaded from source to target. So that is a generic concept. That concept is not related with only MDM. That is a generic concept. That concept can be used anywhere. Okay. So if someone is telling like something like full data load, so in your mind you have to think like that. Full data load means all the data from source we are loading to target. Or you can also think in mind that we are loading. We are means what we say. We are running the load for first time. We are running the load for first time. You can see. Okay. So if you are running the load for first time, then all the data will be loaded to from source to target. That is called a full data load. And in case of incremental, only change data will be loaded from source to target. So how that will have, how that will be means how we can identify change data? So what the data has been loaded to target and what the data we are having in source. So once we will write any ETL code or any code, then in that logic we will try to compare the source data with the target. And if the source data is already existing in target, then that data will not be loaded in target. And if source data after comparison we found that that data is not existing in target, then that only that data will be loaded in target. So that concept is called incremental. Like we are loading the data only change data, right? So yeah. So here also we are learning one data related tool, that is Informatica MDM tool. So here also we should have a concept of implementing a incremental data load. This is also called incremental data load is also called CDC. What is CDC? This is also called CDC. Sometimes you will hear the term CDC. That is called change data capture. Okay. So this is also called CDC change data capture. Means in CDC also we are only loading the change data. Okay. So incremental sometimes also called as a CDC. Na? So CDC incremental are you can say similar and full data is different. Fine. Now the question is how to implement CDC. So CDC means you can understand now, right? That is incremental data load, right? Nothing means only change data load. How to implement CDC in Informatica MDM? That is very important, means not very important question, but that question asked in interview. How to implement CDC in Informatica MDM with the help of landing tables. Okay, so we need to understand this. So we need to understand the question. What is the question? How to implement CDC in Informatica MDM with the help of landing table? So what the landing table we are having in Informatica MDM, we need to do some kind of configuration so that with the help of that we can only load the change data. Like see, on daily basis we are receiving some data from some sources, like on every day we are receiving some data, and customer has told us that like that I want that your ETL job or your MDM job should run on daily basis, and on daily basis what the new data you are getting on the daily basis, that data should be loaded to the target. So that question is similar to this question. Means customer is asking us to load the only change data on daily basis into the target. So for that we have to schedule our job, or we can run the job manually also, and we have to implement some logic in our code so that that can capture only change data, and on daily basis in place of loading all data from source to target, it will only load the change data from source to target. So here in landing table, you can see there is a contain full data set option is here. So let me take a right log. So if I am checking this, that means contain full data set, that means uh, you are going to load the landing table with the full data. You are not implementing any incremental or any CDC. That means contains full data set, means all the full data which we are getting from source will be loaded to this landing table. But if I am unselecting it, then that means I am not using contain full data set. That means I am only capturing only the change data. So the question is how you are capturing your change data and how this MDM is understanding and how it can load only change data on what basis. This is a question. So you can see here in landing table. So in landing table you can see when we had created a landing table. So at the time of creation of landing table, one last updated column was added by MDM. Okay, we had not added this column. That column was added by MDM itself. Why? Because with the help of this column only, MDM can identify the change data. Like suppose, for example, you had run your job and with the help of that job, you had loaded data. How to recover the learning? Okay, I'm coming to your question. Just let me complete it. So after loading a data up to 20th Jan, again we got some data and we have to load the data to target. So as we know that for all the data in landing table, there is one column which has been added by MDM. So we have the last update date value and that value will be 20th Jan because on 20th Jan we had run the job. So if you have implemented incremental like you have unchecked it, so what Cyperion will do, what this MDM tool will do, it will try to see the maximum value of this last update date, or it will compare the last update date column of each and every record with the record which are already existing in landing table. So here landing table will act as a target table, and some data if we are receiving from source, that will work as a source table. So all the data and all its last updated value will be compared with the data in the landing table last updated column. So if any change it will capture, then it will try to insert the data in landing table. If it will see the last updated value is same, then in that case it will ignore that data. It will understand that data is same, similar data we are getting for same date. Okay. So on the basis of this option contain full data set, we can implement the what we say incremental concept in Informatica MDM. So how to implement CDC with the help of full data, what full data set, what is the name, full contains full data set. Okay, table contains contains full data set. For CDC we have to uncheck it, right, with the help of with the help of unchecking contain full data set option in landing table, we can achieve the CDC. Fine. So if we will uncheck it, means we are not using a full data set. That means we can capture and you can implement the CDC, or you can say we can implement the incremental concept in MDM. Very simple. Fine. And in a staging table also, you will see that we can apply the CDC with the help of delta detection. So I will let you know that thing once you will learn the staging table. So in MDM we are having a two level of options, like in landing table also we can apply, in a staging table also we can apply. But most of the time we do apply in the staging table, not in landing table. But yes, we are having the option. If someone is asking, then you can tell us we are having the option, we can apply that. Fine. So let's for information just let's consider full data set option only for this training. We need to understood this concept. Okay, fine. So finally we understood all the things about the landing table, right? Now we should go ahead and we should try to recap. Yeah, there was one question from Kalai. How to recover the landing table and the TS data inside database if the table removed, deleted, dropped by user by mistake. Yeah, so see, it's data, okay? It's data inside database if the table inside. See, so actually in real time now, what happened? That scenario happened many times, happens many times in the real time environment. So what happens? There are separate DBA team will be there who will take care of the database server and its instances. So they will take a backup on the regular basis of the data. Okay, so they will schedule some cron or some job which will run and that will take the backup of the data on daily basis or on weekly basis. So suppose some developer by mistake deleted some table or dropped some table or truncated some table. So the only option we are having, we can approach to the DBA team and DBA team can what we say recover their data because they are having a backup on the daily basis or on the maybe on the hourly basis also, that depends on the frequency. So the one option we are having with the help of DBA team, we can get the data in landing table. The second option we are having, like suppose what the source table we are having and what the source table which is cooperating to load data in landing table. So we need to do some kind of change in our ETL code and we need to apply some date filter, like if you want to recover data from suppose 2015 to 2016 like this. So we need to apply this type of filter condition in our ETL code and we need to run our ETL code again. So with the help of that also we can recover our data. So that scenario happened in our latest project also. So that generally happens because many new developer will do this type of mistake. Okay, so in any big company, in any big project now, so there are separate DBA team who will take care backup of the data on daily basis, on hourly basis also. And if something will bad will happen, then they can recover the data. That's a means best option that being used in big companies in our big project. Either the second option what I told, with the help of your ETL code you can recover the data. So both two options we are having. So fine, Kalei. Yeah, okay. Any other question till now? How to how to receive via TL? How to receive? How to recover via TL means ETL. Okay, ETL. How to recover via ETL? See, so just a minute. A good question, not an issue because that thing happens in our real time. Okay. So I think you guys got the concept of full data load, incremental data load, and in the landing table you got the concept how to implement MDM. So now here we are means understanding how to recover data if deleted, truncated, or dropped, or table dropped. We are talking about this. Okay. So for this we are having a two option. One option, DBA team will take the backup of database on a regular basis. So we need to raise a ticket to DBA team for recovering the data. That is the first option. Then they will need some approval from high level, and if the like individual customer or high level authority will approve that, then they will go for replicating the data. So that is the first option. The second option is that with the help of ETL code, we can apply manual filter. We can apply a manual filter in code with the help of ETL. We can apply manual filter in the code. Then we need to run ETL manually. Then data will be recovered. So see, there are two options: truncate and delete, right? So in both the cases, data got deleted. So in that case, we can easily recover the data with the help of this concept. But if the table has been dropped, then we need to recreate the table, and then we need to apply this logic if the table has been fully dropped from the database. So these two options we generally use in a real-time project for recovering the data. So yeah, so that will be applied for all the tables. That is a kind of generic answer you can say for all the tables. So we try to use this type of two logic for resolving this kind of issue. Yeah, it's fine, Kalai, or do you need any more clarification? Okay, fine. Any more question? Okay, fine. So let's go ahead. Yeah. Sure. Okay. So actually, actually, I am trying to writing this all the things so that now I can share this thing on daily basis to you guys, and this will be helpful, and this will act like a note. What do you say? Notes on daily basis. Okay. So I'll share this all the content on daily basis, and try to save it so that it will work as a notebook for you. Okay. So that once you will do revise, then you can just have a look and you can do revise all the things. So it will be helpful for you guys. Now, after learning the landing table concept, here we were just learning the landing table concept. Just we were recapping its landing table concept. Fine. Now we are going to learn a staging table concept in Informatica MDM. So let's go back and collect how user choose full or incremental data load in usual scenario. What are system columns? So system columns. So system columns now. Once you will click on system columns. So the system columns means not a user defined columns. That system will be defined by Cyprian itself. Okay. So in this example, here you can say like in this table, last update date is a system column, because that column is being added by Informatica MDM. So if some column will be added by this tool, then that column will be called as a system column. And if you are clicking on show system column, so ideally in landing table this is not showing, but in a base object or other table, just I am showing you after connecting to the other varies, because in this varies we don't have base object table. So if you are clicking here now, go to columns, and if you are clicking on unchecking this show system column, so this is not showing any system columns. So in this table you can see these two are the business column, and the row ID object is also you can say is a user column, but that is also defined by tool itself, but we populate the value of this column by ourselves. We will see it later. But if you are clicking these, then you can see lots of columns. Okay. So here you can see all the system defined columns. These all the columns are defined by Informatica MDM. So that is the difference. If you are checking it, then system defined columns will also appear. If you are unchecking it, system defined column will not appear. That's it. How to use a full incremental data load in usual scenario? See, if you are going to means what we develop any project from a scratch level, na? So we do try to write our code in such a way so that we can apply both concept, because after completion of development of the code, we need to run the code first time, right? So in first time we need to load all the data. So our code will be written in such a way that it can load all the data from what we say, from a starting, from inception we say. Okay, and after that, means in first time there will not be any filter condition. What the data we are having in our source, all the data will be loaded in target without any filter condition. But in case of incremental, we should have some kind of filter condition, so that on the basis of that it can capture the change data, or it can load the only data on a daily basis on the after comparing some columns. Like it will compare the last update date. If that last update date data is already existing in target, then that will not be loaded. And if other than that data we are getting in source, then that data will be loaded in target. So we do design two type of logic in all the code. Like that would be ETL code, that will be MDM code. So if you are doing any type of development related to data, so you will build two types of code. One code will handle kind of full data load, and one code will handle incremental data load. But you can, if you want, then you can what you say, implement these two logic in one coding also. Just you need to make some manual change, and after that you can handle these two logic in one code also. So that's all about incremental and full. So what are the system columns? Where the last update date is a system column. Yeah, this is a system column. I think you understood now, because we had not created here, right? So the next question, how to set a column as a system column? See, we cannot set a column as a system column. If you will create any table inside Informatica MDM, so as per the table, what we say, if you are creating a landing table, then in that case some other column will be added by Informatica MDM, so that will call it a system columns. But if you are creating some staging table, then in that case some other table, some other column will be added in a stage table apart from business column. If you are going to create base object column, base object table, then you will see lots of other system column will be created. So it depends on the table type. For different table type, different source system column will be generated by Informatica MDM. That is not generic like that for all the tables. This will happen. But yes, for the same type of tables, same set of system column will be generated by Informatica MDM. Like if you are creating 4 landing table, then each landing table you will see last update date column as a system column. So the same thing will happen in case of a staging table also, and in case of base update table also. We will see that. And the next question, whether last update date is a system column, or what does that column called as in landing? See, as we know that we had not created last update date column, right? For example, if you want to do the you want to see, then let's connect to training underscore dev, and let's create a landing table. If you want to see, that's not a problem. Let me take a right log. So try to install the tool and try to do as much as POC as you can do to things get clear. So L underscore something ABC table I am giving. Click on OK. Okay, now click here. Here you can see just you had created one table, but one column has been added by MDM itself. We have not added any column till now, right? So that is a system column, because that column was added by Informatica MDM. Fine. So that is a system column. So with the last year you can clarify. Can you show that manual change for data load? Can you show that manual change for data load? Manual change for data load means? I'm not getting clear this. Kalai, can you please explain your question? Like, I'm not getting this. You said for choosing data load. Can you show that manual change for data load? Yeah, you said that for choosing. Yeah, just I'm showing you with the help of some example. Let me show that. Yeah, let's try to cover the things from very basic. That's not a problem. So see what I am trying to tell. Suppose we have employee table, fine, and we have two field employee name. Suppose we have EMP ID and EMP name. Very simple. Fine. Suppose EMP ID we are having 100 and 101, and EMP name you are having ABC something for first, and second you are having ABCD something. Fine. So first of all, if you have created here landing table, EMP landing table in Informatica MDM, and if you are choosing a kind of, if you are choosing a full data load, full data load option, full data load option, then what will happen? So all here you will see three columns. Here in the input you are having two columns, but in landing you will see two columns plus one last updated column. Last update date, last update date column. So in landing, that column will be added by Informatica MDM because that is a system column, right? We know that, no? So in case of full data load, what will happen? Like first record will come like 100 EMP ID, EMP name ABC, and suppose a system data like today is 24/01/2017, something will be recorded for the last updated. Now the second record will try to load, so it will have a EMP ID 101. It has your name ABCD something, and the date will be same. Date will be same. Fine. So this is the case of full data load. Fine. Now, if you are using a incremental, then what happened? So in case of incremental, suppose now in your source table, that was your source table initially, right? So suppose one more record added after some time, 102, and his name was suppose something new record. Say anything. Okay. So this two record is already existing in your target table. Fine. So how this will recognize? So on the basis of employee ID, it can find out that this two record is already existing in target landing table. Fine. And here it can see that 102 is a new record. So in case of incremental, already you are having this much of data in target landing table, because target landing table generally is not a truncate load, it's the appended load. Okay. So all the data will be appended in general case. So it will try to do the comparison on the basis of employee ID, and it will find that this record is new. So at this time it will only load this record. It will not load. It will not load this record because these two records already has been loaded in landing table. So in case of incremental, only change record like 102 has been why not here in target. So only 102 will be loaded, and suppose that was loaded on suppose yesterday. Suppose that was loaded yesterday. We had run the job yesterday on 23rd. So on 24th, you will get only one record on the day, in case of 24th. Fine. So when you ran that job yesterday, so finally suppose you got this two record on the 23rd Jan, and again you run the job on today like 24th. So on 24th it will try to, if you have implemented incremental, so it will try to compare the existing record in target, and it will try to find the change record. So here it will find this is the change record because this record is already existing. This record it will compare it, this is already existing. So if this record will compare, so it will find that no, this record is not existing in target, so this record will be inserted, and the last updated value will be the system date. Okay. So this is the actual concept of incremental. Only change data is getting loaded. Okay. So suppose like tomorrow you will run a job okay, incremental job, then what will happen? So suppose you are having this set of data, and tomorrow, so suppose tomorrow you did not receive any new record, then what will happen? On 25th, do you get any data on the for the 25th date? No, because this data has already been loaded in target. So after comparison, it will find that there is no change data from the source. So on 25th, if you are running the job, you will not get any data in target. But suppose by any chance some record you have got for 103 something, suppose MMM something, then in that case, this record will be inserted in the target table and the date will be 25th, 2016, something like this. Okay. So that is the means data flow of the incremental. By this concept, incremental works actually. Actually, you guys are not from ETL background. That's why means you are asking question, because if the ETL guys actually they implement that type of logic in the ETL code, so that's not a problem. So I think you got the clear concept, right?
Hi, Sujit. One question.
Yeah.
Ravi this side. I just want to know, after a full backup, sorry, full data load,
Hmm.
okay, if if we are doing the incremental data load, okay,
Hmm.
and again, if we want to do the full data load, then what will be the result in the landing table? So will the same data coming again in the landing table, or will it be
See,
as it
see,
is?
see, like you told that you are on daily basis, you are doing the load on incremental, right? And on the some
Okay.
day you want to load the full data, right? So what will happen? In case of full data, the comparison
Mm-hmm.
will not happen. The source data and target data will not be compared. Okay, so
Okay.
what the data you
Okay.
are having in source that will be loaded in target. So there may be duplicate data in target, because
Correct.
same
Yes.
data has already been loaded in target. Again and again, with the help of full data load, you are loading the target table. You are not truncating the target. So what the data that was loaded previously, all the data was already there, and again the same data will be loaded in the target. So here there could be two scenario. If there is no primary key has been defined on this landing table, then you will get a duplicate data and your data will be loaded. But if you have defined a primary key, then due to the primary key constraint violation, because primary key column should not be duplicate. That is the definition of primary key, Ravi. Okay. So try to learn this concept with the help of SQL, or I will tell you later. No.
Yes. Yes.
So if
Yes.
you
Yes.
are
Yes.
defining any column as a primary key, that means that column
Mm-hmm.
should not contain any duplicate record, or that column should not contain any null value. Okay. So in that case, what will happen? Either job may fail, either job may fail, or either record will be rejected. These two scenario can happen in that case. But if you have not defined any landing table, then all the record from source to target will be loaded, and you will have a duplicate record. So that's it.
Yes. There will be data redundancy.
Right, right.
Correct.
So we don't we always try to avoid this, okay? Because once you will do
Okay.
this type of mistake, then it will be very difficult for developers to means replicate the data in other tables also, okay? So always what the concept we do follow: first full data load, then incremental. That's a simple,
Mm-hmm.
no? Don't load
Okay.
any full data later, because yeah, we do follow that. Suppose our target table got truncated or deleted or dropped, like Kalai told, no? So you can follow this methodology. What you can do, like if all the data has been deleted, then you can use your full data option, and with the help of full data you can load all the data from source to target in that case. So only in typical scenario we do use that option. Otherwise, in general case, we do use first time full data, and going forward we do use incremental. Nothing else. Fine? Yeah, so let me see more question we have. Ram.
No, Sudhir, actually, Ravi asked the same question in a different way. I just wanted to know, suppose if we went with the incremental process and again we want to go with the full data load set, so
Hmm.
what will happen?
Like,
So you
please,
answered
yeah, please, I answered this question, right?
right, right.
So you got the point, now?
Yeah, I got it.
So it depends on the primary key value on the target table. If primary key defined, then it will not allow duplicate value. Then in that case, either job may fail, either record may be rejected. If no primary key, all the record will be inserted in target and we will have a duplicate value. Fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So just for information, I had created this. Why I'm removing this table, because it will create confusion like from where this table came from, right? So let's remove this. Okay. So I think we discussed lots of question here. So that's very good. Like what the question we are having in mind now, all the questions should be clear. That is the intention of training. The intention of training is not like that. Like we have to waste our 50 hours and we have to just download the videos and we have to save it for future. All the questions what are there in your mind, those all the questions should be clear and that should be conceptually you should understand that. Then we will go ahead. Okay, fine. So I am moving just ahead one step. So we have discussed all the questions and now we have learned the concept of landing tables. Now I'm going to move on a staging table, because always you have to keep in mind this this flow only. Okay. So once you are learning this landing table, staging table and this all the stuffs now, so this flow you have to keep in mind. So we discuss all the things for this landing tables layer. Fine. Now we are going to learn a staging table. How we can move data from landing to a staging, how we can create the staging table. Okay, so we learn this type of stuff. So now we are moving to a staging table. Fine. We completed the first step. Now we are moving to second step. So for a staging table, first of all, we should know that a staging table is subset of base object table. What is meaning? A staging table, STAG. Yeah. So a staging table is subset of base object table. So at least we know all the concept of subset, right? Because you have all learned the mathematics 12 class. So what will happen in subset? Like suppose there is a set A which contains data 1, 2, 3, and there is a set B which contain data 1, 2, 3, sorry, 1 and 2, right? So here we can say B is subset of A, right? Because all the element of B is present in A. So B is subset of A. Can we say A is subset of B? No, because some records are there in A which are not present in B. So A could not be subset of B, but B could be subset of A, because all the records and all the things are present in B, and also that thing is present in A. Fine. So this is a very basic concept of subset. So you should know. So what the meaning of the statement I have written here? A staging table is a subset of base object table. So so bef before creating a staging table, we should create base object table. We should create the parent first, because parent is base object, and you can see or you can say a staging table is child, because a staging table is a subset of its parent base object. So before creating a staging table, we should create base object table. Fine. So let's start how to create the base object table. So for that, here you can see how to create base object table. Let's see it.
Sujit, what is a base object table?
Yeah. So in the flow here you can see now, after the staging table, one a step is coming that is called base object table. So for just time
Okay.
being, just only understand that after first step is a landing table, second step is a staging tables, and in third step base object table comes. For just time being,
Okay.
just understand this one. I will explain other things once we will learn base object in detail. Na? So
Okay.
just after the staging table, base object steps come, but only understand this. Na? Nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are lots of what we say content are there for base subject, so we will discuss base subject for at least 5 to 6 class. That is the main table, that is the master table. So I will come there. So just for time being we need to know, because we have to create the staging table, and we know that staging table is a subset of base subject. So before creating table we should create a base subject table. So let's see how to create a base subject table. That's a very simple. Go to model, go to a schema. Now you can see the base subject table, right? So here on base subject, right click, then click on add item. Then here you can see you are having two options, base subject or landing. So here you are going to create a base subject table, right? And in the previous class, I had told you to follow the nomenclature for different tables, right? Just I am showing you the nomenclature was for landing table, we are going to follow L underscore table name. For staging table, we are going to follow S underscore table name, and for base subject, we are going to follow this table name. This is a standard. This is not a hard coded that you have to follow. You can take any table, but in best practice, we do follow this nomenclature in real time development. So let's create a base subject table for employee. So this is a base subject. So B underscore EMP. So we know that C underscore something will be appended by MDM, right, for all the tables. So the actual name of this table is C underscore B underscore EMP. So yeah, fine. And this you always have to what we say, data table space and index table space. Try to keep as default. Don't do anything. Now, okay. So let it be created. If it will create, then from backend we will try to see it that is it reflecting in database or not. So actually see here you can see now there are lots of time it is taking, because what happens in real time, once any base subject table will be created now, so at the same time some other infrastructure tables also get created with the help of base subject. So I will show you in the back end, like let's see that yeah, this table
Sujit, I cannot listen your voice properly.
is it
Yes, Sujit.
yeah, so like
Yes.
what I mentioned, the voice is low or what, like the voice is low or some noise is coming, something like this. Ravi, Ravi, can you please confirm, like just a minute here. Your voice is breaking. What is the base subject table? Purpose of base subject table. Issue with voice. We cannot hear your voice. Kalai, me too. So now can you hear, or still you are persisting this problem? Still
Uh,
cannot.
we we can
I
hear.
can.
Yeah, we can hear you.
It's fine now, na?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So please just stop me if you are facing this type of issue, means on immediately, so that we will not waste our time. So uh, yeah. So we had created a base subject table from Informatica MDM, right? So here also we need to define some columns. So Kallai, here you can see now just we have created a base subject table. We have not defined any columns, right? So once
Sujit, I think your video got hanged.
uh,
There is a pop-up screen for that you shown to us.
no, the recording is already in progress. What I can see. So recording is running
But
fine.
we cannot.
Yes.
Yeah, now.
It is start.
Uh, Now it's working.
Okay. Okay,
It is
fine.
stuck with a pop-up.
Okay. There may be some actually now today I'm facing some internet issues, so maybe there would be some problem. So let's try to complete the class today class. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so just now we have created a base subject table and we can see
Mm-hmm.
that we have not added any column to this table till now. But once you are clicking also this column, you can see lots of columns this table is containing. So from where this column came from? So this all the columns has been added by Informatica MDM. That's why these all called as system columns. This is not a user defined columns. These all are the system columns. Okay. So for time being, try to don't try to get confused with this much of table, this much of columns. I will explain each and every column and its significance in detail once we will learn the base subject in detail. So just for time being, don't worry. Just see that this much of columns are present. We will try to understand each and every table in detail, each and every column in detail, and we will try to understand its significance later. So fine. Let's uncheck it so that we cannot get confusion and you cannot see this much of table, this much of column. So we need to create some business column, right? Because from landing we are getting employee name and employee address. So in base object, which is a main master table, there also these two columns will be present. So let's take EMP name, uh, yeah, EMP name, and the other let's add EMP address. So these two column we are getting from input from source, right? So we have added these two column in base object. Just we had created base object. Now we have added these two columns. Fine. Now save it. And here you can see the row ID object. So just remember one thing only, that row ID object is the primary key for base subject table. That's it. Remember for timing. Later we will understand in detail. So just save it. Now let's go to the SQL developer and try to refresh the tables and see that each base subject table is visible or not. So see, earlier we had only one landing table, user defined landing tables, but now you can see lots of tables. So when we had created this table, like base subject employee table, so at the same time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This 10 table got created along with this base subject table. Okay, that's why that process takes some time. Like when you create base object, na, it will take some time because in backend it also create this all the infrastructure tables. So we will learn these all the tables in detail. Once we will learn base subject part in detail. So for time being, just see these are the tables which are kind of helping tables of this base subject. For just time being, only try to understand this one, nothing else. In detail, we will learn each and every table. So fine. So from here we can see there are lots of columns are there in base subject. So only employee name and employee address, these two column is a business column. Business column, that means we are actually getting data for these two column only from business, from input. And these all the columns are being populated by Informatica MDM to do their internal works. Fine. So from these all the columns we can see from here also. Like click this, you can see it. Fine. Great. So now we have created a base object table. After going to a schema, ACHEM schema, then going to base objects, we created a landing table. We created a base object table. Very simple, right? Now, yeah, we can go for creating the staging table because we know that a staging table is a subset. So first of all, our main set should be created. So main set like base subject employee we have created. Now we can go for creating a stage table. So how to create a stage table? So for that also you have to go to CHE schema, then you have to go to base object, then you have to go to base object tables, base object table name, right? Then let's see. First of all, you have to go to a schema, then you have to go to base object, then you have to go to base object table name. Then within that you can see one option that is called a staging tables. You have to go a staging tables option. From there you can create a staging table, right? Any question till now or everything is running fine? Question: skin got hanged. Think so. So it's fine now, right?
Yes, Ajit,
Yeah, yeah.
it's fine.
Thanks, sir. So yeah, so now we are about to learn how to create the staging table. So we got the step: model, a schema, then base object, and then we have to expand it, then we have to go to base object table, then we have to go to a staging tables. Now right click on this, add a staging table. So here you can see
Screen is hanged.
a
I
screen
think the screen is not working. Yeah.
a screen again hanged.
Yeah.
Yes,
I can
we can
see a
only see
blur
the
of
buffer.
your desktop.
Yes.
Blur screen of your desktop.
No, it should not show like that. What should I do? It's 9:11. Let me reconnect and let me stop sharing and let's start sharing. Is it visible now?
Not it. Not it.
Let me
No.
refresh it. Now it's visible.
Uh, yes.
Yeah, you are sharing something now. Yes, it is visible now.
Yeah. So that's fine. So we know the step of creating a staging table, but if I am trying to create it, I am getting this message. So what is the significance of this message? Let's see. There are no source system defined. Please add a source system before defining your staging table. That's a very important point. We should know this point. So how to create a staging table? So before that, we need to create a base object. Base object we have created. We have created it. Fine. Now if we are going to, we need to create base object. We have created, and this is the process. So now if we are trying again, we are getting that this is asking for. We need to add some source system. So here actual concept come for staging table. Like for each source system, there will be only one staging table. There will be only one staging table. Fine. So let me come back to a staging landing table concept. So let's come here, MDM demo, and here all of us are expert that if we are having a suppose for example three source system, then how many landing tables we can create? So all of us can answer this question because all of us have explained it. Now the second question is coming. Okay, fine. As per your wish, you have created a one landing table or three landing tables, so that's fine. So in this practical, just we are using a single landing table, and in that single landing table, we are loading data from all the source system. So we have used the first option. So that's fine. Now the second situation is coming for these three source system. How many staging table you are going to create? So if this type of question will be asked in interview, or if this scenario happens, so you always have to keep in mind that number of a staging table will be equal to the number of source system. This is a kind of hard coded value. It will never change. If you are having
Okay.
a 10 source system, then you should have a 10 staging table. But that is also that may vary. If suppose you are having 10 source system, right? But what happens, you need to create only 5 staging table. So it may be that the number of staging table could be less than equal to the number of source system, but it could not be greater than number of source system. If the number of source system is 10, then for a particular table, the number of staging table could not be greater than 10. Either it could be 10, or if you want to create only 5 staging table for 5 source system, then it also happens. Maybe for 5 other source system you are not you have no need to create a staging table. So just you have defined 10 source system in your Informatica MDM, but only you have created 5 staging table. And for other 5 source system you have not created any staging table. So this scenario can happen. But it will never happen that you can create a 11 staging table for 10 source system. It could never happen. Fine. So we got the concept of staging table. So for each source system, there will be only one staging table. So let's yeah. So first of all, we need to define the source system. Then we can avoid this error message. So how to add the source system? For that, you need to go to System and Trust. Here, System and Trust. Now go to System. Now right click on the Add System. So in our training, just we have considered these 3 source system. The first source system name is SRC1, the second one is SRC2, and the third one is SRC3. So we are just considering these 3 source system for training purpose. So let's try to add this source system in Informatica MDM. So give the name SRC1. You can keep a description same, that's not a problem. Now you can see it will reflect under the system. Here you can see SRC1. Now let's create a SRC2, source system 2. SRC2 is the name of the source system 2, nothing else. It could be anything in real time. And I am adding SRC3. Fine. So now we have defined these 3 source system in Informatica MDM. Fine. So here you can see there is one source system admin that was showing by default. So what is this? So this is the this is the default source system. Admin is a default source system. So you can say like what type of data will come for admin source system. There may be some question like for source system 1 we are understanding that what the data we are getting from a source system 1, that data will be considered as data from source system 1. But what type of data will come for admin source system? Because admin is also showing in source system part, right? So that is the question. So actually admin source system data we get once suppose we are using a IDD or we are using a data stored tool. So from that tool, user can easily insert a data if they want. Either they can update the data also. So if any manipulation is happening from what we say from customer in directly in base object, then for that data we will see that source system it will show admin. So suppose you have added some data in base object, fine, and after adding the data, customer has saw that the data has been wrongly added, means wrongly loaded. So they will try to edit the data. So once they will edit the data, then that data will have a source system admin. So that's it. So the default data which we are getting from input that will be refer to the respective source system, but the data which will be edited or inserted from admin console, that may be data stored, that part I am talking about. So we will see these all the parts in detail once we come here. but just on high level understand, if you are making a data change from these tools, then that data will be considered as a data from admin source system, nothing else. Fine. So once you are creating this source system, now you can go for creating the base staging table. So for creating the staging table, you should know the steps. Go to a schema, go to base object, go expand it, go to base object table name, go to a staging tables. Now try to create a staging table. Now that error is not coming, because that was saying that we need to define a source system before creating a staging table, because source system is a specific to, sorry, a staging table is a specific to source system, that depends on the source system. That's why before creating any staging table we need to define the source system. That's all. So as we know, the naming nomenclature for staging, that should be s underscore, and that is the employee table. That's fine, and that table is referring a source system one only, because we know that each staging table will refer some source system. So if I am writing only s underscore emp something, and if I am not writing any source system, then we will be unable to recognize that staging table belongs for which source system. That's why we give a naming convention like this: table name underscore source system. So S means the staging, EMP means employee table, and SRC1 means the staging table for source system 1. That is the significance. So it will take a physical value after appending C underscore something. Now here you can see in system drop down, you can select only one source system, right? So that's why I told now, for each and every source system there could be only one staging table, because in drop down we know that we can only select one option at a time, right? So here we are creating a staging table for SRC1. So let's select a SRC1 as a source system and keep these all a value as a default. Here you can see in column, so what the column you had added in base object, those all the columns are showing in a staging table. That's why this is called as a, what we say, a staging table is a subset of base object, because out of these two columns, if you want that I need only this column, then out of these two columns you can select only one column also, because staging is the child of base object, you can see, because that is the subset of parent base object. So either you can select all the columns from base subject, or you can select a partial column, but generally we do select all the columns. So from here also you can unselect all, or you can select all from here also. So let's select all, and then with the help of cell update, if you are checking it, then with the help of this we can update the value inside the, what you say, inside the staging table. So we will see this cell update concept later. So let's try to understand the basic staging table. So now we check, we clicked, we are trying to take these two columns in a staging table. That's why I selected both the columns. So now click OK. You will see your staging table will be created. So it is taking some time, because yeah, the table is created. Now here you can see, here you can see the columns also. So we are going to spend the next one or two classes in a staging table itself, because there are lots of conceptual things we need to understand practically in a staging table itself. We will not skip this part so fast. If you want, then we can you can skip this part in one class also, but interview point of perspective, project point of perspective, that is very important, that we need to learn a different scenario based questions at this level. So we are going to spend at least one or two class at this level, so please keep patience. So let's see this staging table from backend, is it showing or not? Refresh it. Now it will show cs underscore something. So now here you can see the staging table from backend, and here also you will see some system defined columns. Come to columns, click on columns here. So click on show system columns. So you will see lots of system columns has been created by Informatica MDM for this table. Right? If you are checking it, then it will gone away. So just one thing you have to keep in mind, PKSRC object is the primary key for this staging table. For every staging table, there is one column that is system defined column that is called PKSRC object, and that is the primary key for every staging table. So just you have to remind it. Fine, we have created a staging table. So now actually we are having three source system, and for each and every source system we are getting the data. So for getting the data in base object, from landing to a stage and a staging to base object, or you can understand from for loading data from landing to a stage, so for holding the data from three source system, at least we should have a three staging table, so that for source system 1 from data from landing table can be loaded to the source system 1 staging table. Source system 2 data from landing table can be loaded to source system 2 data in a staging table. Because we know that in landing table we can create one table, and in one table we can populate the data from multiple source system. But we know that in a staging layer we should have a specific staging table for a specific source system. That's the constraint we are having, right? So we are having a data from other two source systems, so at least we will create two other staging table. So S underscore EMP, let's take SRC2 for system 2. Now here select SRC2 because this staging table we are going to create for source system 2. So here you have to select SRC2. Now select both the columns, click OK. You will see your source system, your staging table for source system 2 will be created. So here you can see all the things we have to do from front end. We have no need to write any hard code. That is the benefit of the tool. Once you will understand the concept, then you will feel very happy and it will feel very easy to work with this tool. Let's create the third staging table. S underscore EMP underscore SRC3 for source system 3. Let's click it. I'm selecting source 3 option, and let's check all the columns from base subject. Here you can select. Yeah, so now we have created three different staging tables for this base object. Because why we understood that, right? Because in landing table we are getting data for three source systems. So at the staging layer, like as we know that if we will recap this, if we are moving from landing to a staging, if you are moving data from landing to a staging label, so there should be some tables such as staging labels which can hold the data from landing table, right? Then we will come to base object table. So there is one constraint, or you can see one one hard coded rule at a staging table is that there should be a one staging table for one source system. That's why here we are having a three source system. So that's why I have created a three staging table at this layer. That's all. So for today, let's stop the session, because if I will cover more thing, then it will be confusing. So tomorrow what I will do, tomorrow we will try to create a mapping, and with the help of this mapping, we will try to move the data from landing table to a staging table. Now we have created landing table, also we have loaded some data in landing tables. Now also we have created a staging table, three staging tables. So now we should know how the data will move from landing table to a staging table. That is our main question. So for that, tomorrow class we will define mapping, and we will learn how to define mappings. That is very important. So let's I am stopping the recording for today, and we will